Very good morning, students. So nowadays the coronavirus spreading very rapidly, so don't go out unnecessarily. Stay home and stay safe. Wash your hands frequently. Drink plenty of water because this is summer. And also keep touch with us. We reach you sometimes through online session and sometimes through offline session or recorded video. So kindly follow us. Complete the worksheets whatever will give you, and also follow the class works, very important. Okay. The previous class we have discussed, we have started chapter 1, crop production and management. We have started, and just the introduction we seen. For example, what is food, where food come from, what is the importance of food, why should we eat, what is agriculture, we have discussed. Now we are going to see definition for the crop. Definition for the crop, because we mostly depend plants for food and also animals. Okay, India is agriculture based country. Agriculture is a backbone of our country. So we depend maximum plants for food. Okay, how food is cultivated, how plant is cultivated. So everything regarding whatever is there in the agriculture, everything we are going to discuss in this chapter. The first one is crop. So what is crop? The crop is a plant. Crop is a plant. That is a plant only. The crop is a plant that is grown. That is grown on a large scale. That is definition for the crop. Again, the crop is a plant that is grown on a large scale. The maximum area cultivated, the crops. Okay, this is a definition. This is very important one. Okay, examples. What are the examples for the crops? Examples. The first one is cereals. Is an example for the crops. So what are cereals? What are the examples for the cereals? Wheat, rice, oats, wheat, rice, oats, rye, etc., etc. So these are comes under the cereals. And also vegetables and fruits. So these are grown on the large scale. If it is grown, that is called as a crop. Okay, again the crop definition and example for the crops. Okay, next one is these crops are classified. The crops are classified based on the season. The crops are classified based on the season. For example, how the seasons are classified, at what basis seasons are classified? The first one is temperature. Then second one is humidity. And third one is rainfall. Okay, so based on these the seasons are classified, the crops are classified, and seasons also, summer season, winter season, rainy season, we are classifying, no? So based on the season, the crops are vary. So this temperature, humidity and rainfall is not common in all area. Some regions there will be a high temperature, some region will have a more less temperature. Some regions have more humidity. What is humidity? The humidity means the water droplets or water particles or the atmosphere. That is humidity. And rainfall. Some region will get a more rainfall, some region will get a less rainfall. So these are vary from one area to another area. So based on this, the crops are classified. So there are two types of crops are there. Types of crops. Types of crops. Or cropping pattern. Cropping pattern. Or cropping pattern. Cropping pattern. So at what basis the crops are classified? Based on the season. So based on these characters, the seasons are classified. So there are two cropping patterns. First one is Kharif crop. Second one is Rabi crops. Okay, so based on the season, the crops are classified into two. The first one is Kharif crops, second one is Rabi crops. So now we have seen what is crop, definition for the crops. The crops or the cropping patterns are classified based on the season. So based on these characters, the season or cropping patterns are classified. Okay, next let's detailedly discuss about what is Kharif crop, what is Rabi crops. The first one is Kharif crops. What is Kharif crops? The crops which are sown in the rainy season. The crops which are sown in the rainy season. The crops which are shown in the rainy season, that is called Kharif crops. Then the duration of the Kharif crops. It is what is the duration? Which months is favorable for the cultivation of the Kharif crops? June to September. June to September. This is the duration of the Kharif crops. And what are the examples for the Kharif crops? Examples for the Kharif crops. First one is paddy. What is paddy? The rice is generally called as a paddy. And second example is maize. Maize is a example for the Kharif crops. And third one is soya beans is example. And fourth one is groundnut. Groundnut is example. And fifth one is cotton. Okay, so these are the examples for the Kharif crops. Again, there are two types of cropping patterns. The first one is Kharif crops. What is Kharif crops? The crops which are sown in the rainy season, that is called kharif crops. The kharif crop duration is June to September, and example for the kharif crops: paddy, maize, soyabean, groundnut and cotton. So these are the examples for the kharif crops. And soyabean picture is there, and maize picture is there, and paddy and groundnut. So these are the some example for the kharif crops. And next one is rabi crops. Rabi crops. The second one is rabi crops. So what is a rabi crop? The crops are grown in the winter season. The crops are shown in the winter season. The crops are shown or grown in the winter season, that is called it as a rabi crops. And duration October to March. So between these months only this rabi crops will be shown. So if you cultivated the rabi crops in the kharif crop season, will not grow. And the same, the kharif crop if you cultivate in the rabi that winter season will not grow, because the rabi crops or winter crops only grown in the winter season. The rainy crops grown only in the rainy season. If you cultivated alternately winter crops to rainy crops to winter crops, will not grow, because the particular crops is important sunlight, water and humidity, everything only favorable in the particular season. Okay, that's why the rabi crops will not grow in the rainy season. The rainy crops will not grow in the winter season. So that's important. So based on the season only, the farmers are cultivated the crops. Okay, so the rabi crops, so definition and duration. Examples. The first one is wheat is example. Second one is gram is an example. Peas, mustard, then linseed. What is linseed? In Tamil they will say olive in Tamil. So these are such examples. So many examples are there. This is common examples. So these are examples comes under rabi crops. Again, wheat, gram, peas, mustard, linseeds. Okay, these are comes under the winter crops or as rabi crops. And besides, only these only cultivated? No. So besides, there is a cultivated pulses and vegetables. Pulses and vegetables. Pulses and vegetables also cultivated during the summer. When it is cultivated during the summer season. Pulses and vegetables are cultivated. So these are pictures of Rabi crops, wheat, peas, mustard, linseed, grams. There are two type of gram, black gram and green grams. So these are some pictures of Rabi crops. And next one is the Rabi crops or winter crops. How it is cultivated? So what are the activities should involve during the cultivation of the crops? That all we are going to discuss now. That are called as agricultural practices. Agricultural practices. So what is agricultural practices? The cultivation of crops involves several activities. Cultivation of crops involves several activities. Okay. So what are the activities? Now we are going to discuss that kind of activities undertaken by the farmers. These activities are undertaken by the farmers. So what are the activities now we are going to discuss? That is only concept. So undertaken by the farmers over a period of time. Over a period of time. Okay, so not all the times. So there are some time is there. So when have to cultivate it, when have to irrigate it, when have to apply the manure or fertilizer. So there is a time. All the time will not do the same things. So there are some time is there. Okay, now let's see what are the agriculture practices. Agriculture practices, the first one is preparation of soil. Preparation of soil. It's our first agriculture practices. Second one is soil. And third one is adding manure and fertilizers. Adding manure and fertilizers. What is manure in Tamil? Call it as a uram, no? That is manure. Fertilizer means that is also inorganic substances but made by artificially. So this is important. And next one is irrigation. Irrigation. What is irrigation? Supplying of water. And fifth one is protecting from the weeds. Protecting from weeds. And sixth one, harvesting. And seventh one, storage. So these seven are comes under agriculture practices. These are done during the agriculture over period of time. So it is not taken always. So there are some times. Okay. So these are agriculture practices. The first one is preparation of the soil. So what is preparation of the soil? So the preparation of soil includes ploughing. Okay, what is ploughing in Tamil? They'll say air ஓட்டுதல். Okay, with the help of tractor or with the help of bulletin cart Wilson cord, it is occur. Okay, so air ஓட்டுதல் in Tamil they will say. The second one is showing. What is showing? Cultivation of the seeds. In Tamil they will say விதைத்தல், விதைக்கிறது. And next one is adding manure and fertilizer. Already I told manure means what is uram in Tamil, which is essential for the plant's growth, because the manure only contains essential nutrients which responsible for the plants. And fertilizer. So here also the nutrients are present, but it is made by artificially or man-made. And next one is irrigation. Next one is irrigation. Next one is irrigation. What is irrigation? The supplying of water called it as irrigation. The supplying of water called it as irrigation, because the crops that may be rabi crops or else rainy crops, water is essential. So the necessity may vary. The rainy crops need a more amount of water. Then the winter crops also need water, but compared to rainy it's less. Okay, so supplying of water, that is called irrigation. And protecting from the weeds. Here you should know weed. The term weed. What is a weed? Between the major crops. Between the major crops, some unwanted plants are grow. The unwanted plants are called as weeds. Again, the weeds are unwanted plants or undesired plants grow along with the major crops. That is called weeds. That should be removed, because the unwanted plants will take all the water, all the nutrients. It will not allow to reach to the major crop. So the crop will not grow well and will not give yielding. Okay, so that we have to protect the crops from the weeds. And next one is harvesting. Harvesting, that means what? After mature grains, we have to collect the grains. That is called collecting the maturation of matured grains, or maturation of the grains, called it as harvesting. And last one is storage. After harvest, how to store in the gunny bags and keep in godown. Okay, so that is storage. So these are the various agriculture activities. Okay, here some pictures. Preparation of the soil. Preparation of the soil. See, the ploughing is involved. That will undertaken by the tractors or these cattle. And next one is showing. In Tamil, விதைத்தல். And next one is manuring. Manuring, I told you in Tamil, uram. The supplying manure. And next one is irrigation. The supplying of water. There are various types are comes under irrigation. Various methods, traditional method and olden methods. But anyhow, the crops need water. And protecting from the weeds. So between the major crops, the weeds are growing. That is removed by manually or else using some chemical substances. And harvesting. The harvesting also involve manually and also machines. Okay, and finally, after harvesting the grains, it is stored in the godown or silos or granaries. Okay, so these are the various types of agriculture practices. Now, we are going to see the agriculture practices detailing one by one. The first agricultural practices is preparation of soil. Preparation of soil. What is the preparation of soil? This is the first step before growing crop. First step before growing crops. That is rabi crops or else kharif crops. Whatever it is, this is the first step. Okay, what will happen in this preparation of the soil? In the preparation of soil, the turning the soil and loosen the soil will occur. Turning the soil and loosening the soil will occur. Turning and loosening. The turning and the loosening is also called as tilling or ploughing. Okay, again the preparation of soil. Okay, it's the first agriculture practices. This is the first steps in agriculture practices. What will happen in preparation of the soil? There is a turning of the soil and a loosening of the soil will occurs in the preparation of the soil. Okay, so what is the purpose of turning and loosening of the soil? The first purpose is roots are allowed penetrate into the soil. The roots are allowed to penetrate into the soil. What does mean by penetrate? Enter into the soil. Then only the plant firmly fix on the ground. If it is not penetrate, what will happen? The plants will bend or will fall. Okay, so for this purpose, how to turn and loosen the soil. Okay, and also loosening the soil. What is this part? What is the purpose of the loosening the soil? It is responsible for the breathing of roots. Breathing of roots. Very important one. Why should soil loosen? Because breathing of root. Roots also should breathe. So we are breathing now. The same all living organisms. Plants also will breathe. So that how to loosen the soil. The first purpose turning and loosening the soil is, the first is the roots are allowed to penetrate into the soil, and also loosening of the soil responsible for breathing of root. Okay, and also not only breathing of roots, okay, and also help for the growth of earthworm and microorganism. Important one. So the loosening and turning the soil also help for the growth of earthworm and microorganism. Why should microorganism like a bacteria and earthworm should grow in the soil? Because microorganism and earthworms are generally called as a farmer's friend, because these earthworm and microbes only maintaining the soil fertility. Maintaining the soil fertility. What is fertility? In Tamil will say no valamana man. So that is maintained by the earthworm and microorganism, example bacteria. So not all the bacteria. Some bacteria are useful, some bacteria are harmful. So here useful bacteria and other microorganism help for the maintaining the soil fertility. So for that, the turning and the loosening the soil takes place. Okay, and the soil contains, so only microorganisms and earthworm is present in soil? No, the soil contains first one is minerals, which is responsible for the plant's growth. Water, air, microorganisms, okay, are also present in the soil. So the soil is a major source for the nutrients. How the nutrients available in the soil? So when dead bodies, that may be a plant or animals, on the ground, the microorganisms such bacteria and fungi occupy the dead bodies and decompose into macro into micro molecules. Okay, so what will happen, which is present in the dead bodies, the nutrients or minerals reach to the soil. From the soil again the plants are utilized for their growth. So that is taken by the animals. When the animals are dead, again decompose the dead bodies, again the nutrients are reached to the soil. So like that it is maintained, which is maintained, the nutrients are maintained in the soil. Suppose if the dead bodies or dead and decay bodies are not decomposed properly. What is decomposed? Breakdown from complex to simple substances, that is called the breakdown. It is not occur. What will happen? There is a lacking of nutrients in the soil. Okay, so the soil contains minerals, water, air, and also earthworm, microorganism. These are responsible to maintain the nutrients in the soil. Okay, so the soil have many layers. Soil have many layers. The topmost layer is top soil contains more nutrients. The top soil, the few centimeter of the soil support for the plant's growth. The few centimeter, 2 or 3 centimeter, or few centimeter of the soil contain more amount of nutrients. So that nutrients are much supported for the plant's growth. So when you involve loosen and turning the soil, so the nutrients rich soil will come out. The nutrients rich soil will come out. Okay, and the nutrients less soil will come down. Okay, so this is the turning of the soil. Again, the soil have a many layer. The topmost soil contains more amount of nutrients. So after cultivation, after harvesting, the plants are utilized nutrients much. So here less nutrients. If you ploughing, okay, if you turning or loosening the soil, கீழ இருக்கிற nutrients மேல வந்துரும். Then if you cultivated the crops, will grow there. Okay, so the top layer contains a few centimeter of the soil contains more nutrients that should be turned. Okay, that is occur in the first agriculture practices, preparation of the soil. And next one is the turning and loosening the soil will done by tractor. Well done by the tractor or else plough. Tractor or plough. Okay, the preparation of the soil will done by the tractor or plough. Then, what is the structure of the plough? This is a structure of the plough. This is a structure of the plough. So this is a plough shaft and downside plough shaft. So this is fully made by the wood. Sometimes this sharp edges is there, no, this sharp edges made by the iron, that means irumbu. Okay, so when you plow, that means in Tamil ஏரோட்டுதல், so this sharp edges is there, no, the sharp edges piercing the soil and help for the turning and loosening the soil. So this is a plow, this is a structure of the plow shaft and plow shaft. So this is made by wood, sometimes this is made by iron. So this is responsible for the piercing or tilling or ploughing the soil, which help for the turning and loosening the soil. Okay, so this is tractor ploughing is a modern. And leveling. What is leveling now? After tilling or ploughing, the soil should be level. The soil should be level. Soil should be level. So then only it is help for the plant's growth. Okay, help for the plant's growth. Okay, so in the preparation of the soil, tilling and ploughing will occur. It is done by tractor or plough. Okay, the tractor is a modern method, and ploughing, the air uludal is kalapai, they will say in Tamil. So that is a olden. Okay, olden method. So these things should occur in the preparation of the soil. So after the preparation of the soil, next step will occur sowing. Next step will occur sowing. Okay, so that sowing will discuss next class. Again, what we discussed today, just to recall, we have discussed about kharif crops and rabi crops example, definition and examples we have discussed. And agricultural practices, totally 7 practices are there: preparation of the soil, sowing and manuring, irrigation, protecting from the weeds, and storage. So these are comes under agriculture practices. So this is used by or done by period of time by the farmers. Okay, so we have discussed these things today. So I hope you listen well, and don't forget, should take the classwork. Okay, hints, whatever we write now, you have to take a hints, is very important. And today what we discussed, based on that, I will send you worksheet. Kindly complete the worksheet. After return the class, that hints, you continuously write. Don't put a separate notebook. So don't write backside of the classwork. You continuously write, because one topic we are discussing, the next one is based on the topic, the questions will be given. So continuously write. Don't put a separate notebook for the writing the worksheet. In classwork itself, continuously you write. See you in the next class. Thank you.